Well, I am the president of Parker Rigging Company. We are in our 29th year of business here in Charleston, South Carolina. We are a structural steel fabrication and erection company, rigging and crane rental company. I am a professional engineer licensed in the state of South Carolina, and I specialize in construction engineering and rigging engineering. I am the principal engineer at Parker Consulting Engineers. Well, in 2003, I decided to go back to school and earn a master's degree in structural engineering. Not having a structural engineering master's offered in Charleston, my only alternative was to do distance education with another large in-state university. Took 3 classes there and quickly realized that distance education was not for me. I thrive better in the classroom environment. So I quit pursuing the master's. But I'd always maintained close contact with the Citadel after graduating with my bachelor's from here. And one day I happened to mention to Dr. Keith Clemens, who at the time was a faculty member in the civil department, that I'd quit pursuing my master's in structures. And he mentioned that they were working on developing a master's program in technical project management, and encouraged me to look into it. At the time, I wasn't really interested in it. I had been doing project management for over 20 years in my business. Did not think that I would benefit from a master's degree in project management. But the program is a little different because it incorporates technical aspects into it, and I had the opportunity to not only study project management in the master's, but also structural engineering through the civil department as part of the master's. It started to appeal a little more to me, and I have to admit Dr. Clemens is a great salesperson, and finally I relented and enrolled and fell in love with it. It was a great program, and it's made me a much better project manager. Well, luckily back in 2000, when the project was initiated to raise the Hunley, I was lucky enough that our company was chosen to be a contractor to help get the lab ready. We were hired to install the tank that the Hunley was going to rest in, to install the catwalks and handrails around the tanks, and do some other structural modifications to the building. After that was completed, and shortly before they raised the Hunley, we were asked if we were interested in providing a rigging plan and implementing it to help with getting the sub recovered. And of course we jumped at the chance, and we devised and implemented the rigging plan that took the sub from outside the lab when it was delivered, rolled it into the lab, and lifted it up and put it into the tank. And that was in August of 2000. And since then I have maintained contact there as their rigging consultant, helping the conservators and archaeologists as they worked on the sub for the last 11 years. And then about 2 years ago, we decided that we were going to be working on a rigging plan to rotate the sub. A lot of archaeology had been done. It needed to be rotated before they could finish the archaeology and conservation. So it took about 2 years of planning, but we finally got it planned and implemented, and just here recently the sub has been successfully rotated and is now sitting on its keel. The whole scope of the Hunley project is to gain as much knowledge as possible through archaeology to get a better understanding of the design and implementation and use of the Hunley submarine during the Civil War, and to also learn new techniques on material conservation by the material scientists and conservators treating the Hunley so that it can be displayed permanently in public view without having to be underwater. Anytime you have a long drawn-out project, or any project for that matter, there are several aspects you really have to keep in mind. You have to get your hands around to make sure that your project is going to be a success. The obvious are the planning, the scheduling, the budgeting, the execution itself. The project management classes I took here helped me improve those, helped me be more efficient in those. But what it made me realize more so than anything else is the biggest problem people have with projects or managing projects is not the planning, it's not the scheduling or budgeting or even the implementation. It's the fact that there's poor communications on the project. And the classes I took really showed me how to communicate more effectively, not only with team members, people working closely with the project, but outlying stakeholders, people that could affect the project, and it really makes projects go smoother if the communication's better, if the communications channels are open and work well. Your project stands a much better chance of success.